Sarge's arrival at S.P.O.I.L.E. HQ hits everyone hard. Not the least of which is because he's a lot more like Coulson than anyone cares to admit. And FitzSimmons roll with Lady Luck again, as an unexpected stop on the planet of Kitson could lead to a way home. If they don't lose their heads first. Oh, there was one other thing. Oh yeah, I got a logo. I feel so professional now. It's Agents of S.P.O.I.L.E., Season 6, Episode 7. Toldja. Hey everyone, D here, and welcome to this week's review of Agents of S.P.O.I.L.E. So yes, of course, lots of spoilers ahead. And do want to remind you about our quick jump index system. Just take a look down in the description below. We'll have this entire review broken down into easily titled sequences with easy to access quick time jumps. Watch the end first, watch the beginning and last. Watch it in any order you want. So, yes, before we get into review proper today, do want to make a few announcements. First off, yeah, I got a new logo. Well, I mean, I got a logo. I haven't had one before, so it can't actually be new. But yes, it is a beautiful job done by Alfredo Rodriguez. Do want to throw out a huge thanks to you, Freddy. You did an amazing job. I think it matches my channel perfectly. It's got superhero elements. It's got Marvel elements. It says it all. So you'll be seeing this all over my site now. I'm going to maybe get a few other changes to go along with that. One of which is coming up this Wednesday. I'm going to be doing a live stream discussion of this season of Agents of S.P.O.I.L.E. with Rob Stone from Smirking Gun Reviews. Very excited. Rob has been a long-time watcher of these reviews. He's been doing them himself. We are encouraging each other to do work, and he's a huge Agents of S.P.O.I.L.E. fan. So I'm really excited. We're going to do a live stream here. It's going to be this Wednesday at 6 p.m. Pacific. That is the 3rd. To remember what day it is. So this Wednesday, 6 p.m. Pacific, July 3rd. Just talking about this season of Agents of S.P.O.I.L.E. so far and what maybe we can expect to see forward. So it'll be a fun discussion. If you guys do have any questions, throw those down in the description below, and we'll try and get to some of them if we can during our live stream. So very excited about that. Also, I'm going on vacation at the end of the month. Just gone for a week, but it's from the 19th to the 26th, so I will be gone when episode 10 airs, if I've tracked this all down right. So I just want to let you guys know I will still be doing a review. It just may be a little late because I'm going to be out doing things, and I'm going to have to find time to be sure to watch the show and then shoot a review and get it up online. And I'm not even sure about internet access and stuff like that. I'm going up to Alaska. I've never been there before, so I'm kind of excited. So I'll be gone for a week. So that review for episode 10 will probably be coming in a little bit late. Hopefully only a day or so, maybe a little bit longer. Like I said, I'm not sure, but just keep an eye out, and I will put out notices on the channel to keep you all updated. Alright then, so let's just jump right into things. And I thought overall this was a really good episode, a very solid episode. Kind of a utility episode in some senses. We're really kind of just moving people into positions for the next development of story. But it was done smartly. I mean, we did have some reveals. We did have a little bit of character background introduced. We had some good, I think, emotional gut punches in this. And, you know, in some ways wrapping up a certain section of story, a transition point. So, kind of a lot of things being done, but done very well. And I think it was done mostly because they were focusing on the effect of Sarge being in the S.P.O.I.L.E. HQ and how that affects everybody there. And then also just kind of, again, wrapping things up with FitzSimmons. Thought we'd have a quick escape last week of going straight to Earth. But no, one little unexpected stop. But that's going to as most of these things do, end up being pretty beneficial in the long term. But I do want to start focusing on Sarge here. And I love to say, I loved how they introduced that whole section, bringing him down into the elevator. Just the quick shots of light and shadow and face parts and profiles and the S.H.I.E.L.D. logo. I mean, it was, again, very well, sets the tone really nicely. Again, that blending of light and shadow, what you can see and what you can't, what is hidden and what's revealed, what is good and what is bad. Very much what Sarge is representing here with his kind of Coulson-ness. And I thought that was something that was done really well. We are seeing, I think what they did in this episode more than anything else is show how much Sarge really is like Coulson. He's darker, for sure. You know, there's lines he's willing to cross. But there's a lot of similarities, too. I mean, one, smart and observant. He knew the effect. Walking down the hallway when you have everybody stopping and kind of looking at him and think, oh my God, who is that? That's Coulson. You know, you have that look on everyone's faces, and he sees that. He knows he is walking into this, even in handcuffs, in a position of power. And he plays with that so nicely through this. I mean, first, of course, we have our our run-in with Daisy there, who was beautiful. I have to say, I love that wasn't drawn out also. That she was like, I guess a hug would be inappropriate here. And then he talks, and it's like, this stuff is coming out of that face. They don't match. It's like, that's it. I'm out. I can't deal with it. I think that was the best way. That was the best way of dealing with Daisy with this situation. It shows kind of her maturity. The little bit of comicness, of course, was nice. But that's really the best that you could do. Everything else would have been a little overly done and a little overly sappy. But he has that power, that perception, that ability to poke at people, much like Coulson does. He also inspires loyalty in his people. Even when we had that first break after they got out of the elevator and Snow gets pulled off and she's like, okay, see you later. He's like, well, you know, stay edgy, get ready, you know. There's that connection. There's that trust and belief. Jocko, in a very sweet story there with May, I thought was nice. Giving a little bit of background on him. He's the runt of the litter. Of course he is, the giant man. Of course he's the tiny one. But even there, through that story, talking about this kind of lovable, peaceful existence, a planet very much like yours, it was really nice. A baker? Did not peg him for a baker. Though with the fire, that does sort of make sense. But he has loyalty to Sarge. You know, you want to help me? Great, let Sarge go. If not, I don't want anything that you need. Of course, this does sort of explain the whole breathing thing that he had. I guess too much oxygen maybe sort of gets things bubbling over. Maybe not as much on his planet. Not sure, but I think that is the difference in why he had to sort of wear that mask and so on and regularly get his own atmosphere in order to keep this burning explosive dragonness outside of him. But it is step again. With that, we are seeing that loyalty that Coulson also inspires in his people. And, you know, he has seen gods also. To me, that was sort of a beautiful little scene between him and Mac. Of course, you know, Mac, the very religious type. You know, there's only, you know, you've seen all these gods, and we've seen gods before, and they just end up people with attitude, and there's only one God. And God, I gotta say, I love his response. Oh, it's one of those kind of planets, or it's that kind of planet. Let me guess, benevolent, keeps you warm at night, you know, when you're worried and concerned. Yeah, but I've seen actual gods. Very much like Coulson with Thor and such. I mean, he has seen face to face. I mean, I guess killed by a god, technically, Loki. But again, that kind of breadth of experience of really seeing the largesse, the real power that the universe has to offer. I thought that was sort of a brilliant, again, just bit of a summation of who they are. This is Coulson if he had this harsh life. And I think that's something that's really, by the end of the episode, very strongly set. Also, I don't want to forget to mention the line that he gives when Mac pulls him into the office and he's trying to goad at him and talk about the real Coulson, and he mentions about how S.P.O.I.L.E.R.S were about saving lives. And he throws out that line that I know killed so many of us. Some people are already dead and there's no getting them back. Is he talking about Coulson? Don't say that he is. Don't tease us like that. We're holding on because we want Phil back. But I think that was kind of a message to the audience. Whether that was a real dig or an honest statement, I guess at the moment that's up for our interpretation. But it is that harsh existence that has forced Sarge to make those tough calls, which I think is beautifully set up when the stuff hits the fan, if you know what I mean. And that does get us to our Scene of the Week for this week, and that is, of course, Shrikes on a Plane! And Coulson, or Sarge, sorry, having to deal with it. I mean, first, the little background is nice how Sarge sort of manipulated Mac into thinking that things would be fine if he just rounded up the Shrike themselves, knowing that something else was going to happen. It was a beautiful setup, and I have to say, was done very cleanly, catching our Shrike victims, as it were. But I did have a question of why are these Shreks, why are they not unconscious? Why haven't you KO'd them? Why haven't you knocked them out? Gassed them? Look, this would be a really good time for the ACT preserved gel that we had back in Season 3. You just shove them in there, put them in like suspended animation, no reaction. That would have been so much smarter. Because the moment that they put them in the same pod together, I was like, what are you doing? That's not going to be good. And of course, it wasn't. It all went to hell, which again leads us to our beautiful Scene of the Week sequence. And I'm just going to put this whole thing together with both what's happening on the ground with Sarge and what's going on at the plane too, because they feed off of each other so well, and they give us that real immediacy and tension that we need. I mean, first off, when they pull Sarge in, and Mac is just like, hey, man, we're trying to save these people's lives. He's like, yeah, well, I told you how to do that. You stabbed them in the gut. Now everybody is going to die. It's such a reversal. Because, again, Coulson has taught Mac that S.P.O.I.L.E.R is about saving lives. And Sarge is about hard sacrifices have to be made for the greater good. And a total willingness to do that. I think is the perfect kind of like split line between him and Coulson. Sarge is ready to make those hard calls and willing to throw it in people's faces to point it out. Because he is the only one that knows how to deal with it. But again, it was a great sequence as the Shrikes go and the crystals start to blow up and they try to put it in the pod, and just wonderful shots really when the pod goes. And we get great, again, it's just really, God, Mark Kolpick, you're freaking genius with some of these shots. I didn't know the directors decided this stuff too. But the crystals coming out, blowing out through the pod, and as it's really almost like a 3D image as it's coming at the audience, and then as you're seeing other crystals are coming up and it's passing through, it just made it such a strong dynamic scene, and it really put the tension just straight up. I mean, of course, Yo-Yo's on there, that's going to worry about Mac, but Mac's worried about everybody on the plane. And, you know, first idea, drop it. No, it feeds on life. Important information for us. Just dropping it down would just give more for it to feed. Gotta get cold. Gotta send it up to the cold. Great. Now, admittedly, it was kind of a quick, once the cold hit there, then it was all gone. Little kind of easy and simplistic in its wrap-up. But the tension was there. We have Sarge, who has said from the very beginning, at the end of the day, you're going to let me go and I'm going to be the one in charge. And he had pushed that beautifully. He fainted out. The whole Jocko sequence, almost a feint. That was one possible way of getting out, but it's not what Coulson or Sarge had planned. I know, I'm confusing the two of them. Not confusing, but like I said, a lot of similarities between them, because if Coulson was darker, this is exactly what he would be doing. Pushing, prodding, I'm going to let you make the mistakes, and then I'll save you at the last moment if there is time, if you haven't waited for too long. So we do our save, everything's nice, and then it's that perfect moment. Because Mac's already committed. In order to save, fine, here's your truck, here's your stuff, here's your people, get out. But they know there was so much more. They know how much danger they are. And that final shot that we get of all the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents kind of pausing and looking, and you know they're trying to look, they're intending to look, but not wanting to look over at Sarge, because that's now Coulson, to give them direction. And just as he had predicted at the end of the day, yeah, Sarge is in charge. And it was beautiful. A couple of other moments around the S.H.I.E.L.D. base that I did want to hit on as well. First off, my God, Jeff Ward pulled out an amazing scene in tonight's episode. And I think it was stronger because he was so painful immediately beforehand. And yes, I'm talking about the Deke Daisy reunion, which, God, was so uncomfortable. Just painful to watch as Deke's just trying to strut, put up his Jordans. He doesn't, you don't know where Jordan is? That hurts. I'm not even a big basketball fan, and I know Jordan. Damn it, the Bulls, it's legendary basketball. And shoes. But beside the point, just the whole showing off shoes, talking about, oh, I'm a big rich CEO. Oh, I found out your world's all about making money. That's what I do, babe. I make tons of money. That whole scene was just painful. And Daisy tried to kind of like indulge and not push him off. But you know, as soon as he showed up, she was like, oh, God, now I got to deal with this. The discomfort was palpable. And I think that was a perfect setup because once Daisy kind of drops that little bit of hint and we have Deke going, wait a minute, Fitz, what were they doing? And looking, what do you mean looking for Fitz? Because that following scene up when he confronts Mac just floored me. I had to stop and rewind. That was almost my scene of the week. But I love the composition for the other one and I think it had larger moments. But this right here, super powerful, unexpectedly powerful. And usually yelling from an acting standpoint isn't always the best direction you want to go in because there's nowhere that you can go from that. Once you're yelling and screaming, there's no bigger place that you can take it. But Jeff Ward did a really, I think, incredible job with this in showing that explosive anger, but holding it and keeping it focused. Seriously, all of the fun comic book, excited to see alien stuff, dropped immediately away with this scene. This was super real and super grounded. It was short, but it was poignant. And we really saw that as much of a goof-off as Deke is, he has hard, serious, strong emotions, connections to family and loyalty himself, his own frustration. I think Mac put it out for when he's like, yes, you saved us and brought us back, and then you left. But even with that hit, I think Deke just showing that serious, strong, honest emotion, it really was a surprising scene for me and really kind of blew me away. And I love that they followed it up with like, oh, well, we need a genius. Maybe you could look into this stuff and help us out. So again, are you complimenting me? Yes, I am. Okay, because it worked really good. Okay, I'll go and do that. It was a perfect scene. But I think it was stronger because we had the painfulness of those scenes with Daisy right beforehand. And this, again, just grounded everything down. Then we had, I think, just a nice scene between Mac and Daisy in the hallway there. I thought that was cute. That little connection. Mac's like, again, talking to his old partner. Man, this is a tougher job than we think. You sure you don't want it back? No, that's why we picked you. It was just, again, it was a nice moment between friends, cohorts, professionals, reconnecting, supporting each other. And then we also got the little bit of, look, what's up with you and Yo-Yo? Why aren't you back together? There's a lot of couples in this show, aren't there? But we like them all. And anyway, it was a nice moment. I love the sort of levity and connection, but also that kind of serious, like, I can't see a world where you two aren't together. Now, of course, we got our other side of the story this week, and that is FitzSimmons and Enoch back in the gaming room on the planet of Kitson. And okay, first time operating intergalactic travel disc, or interplanetary travel disc. Okay, I can understand the complications. Just goes back to its last setting. All right. But it was a fun bit, especially seeing how Simmons' sort of different experience back in the casino right there. It's just not the same without the vapor trails. I thought it was great. And wonderful just little moments within that of alluding to Fitz that there was much bigger adventure that had happened when she was here last time than he's kind of aware of. I thought that was handled beautifully. Do have one question, though, with their arrival. What happened to the guy that picked up the disc? From the looks on everyone's faces, it didn't look like he just opened the door and went through. It looked like he got murderized, disintegrated. I mean, all of his pieces at least went to the same place. We didn't see an arm drop, or I was wondering if he was looking at it and it just transported like the top of his body. That didn't seem the case, but it's almost better not knowing, just seeing the reactions on everyone's face. Enoch's kind of stunned. Gemma's just, oh my, that half horror and half, oh my God. And Fitz just, what is going... It was a perfect combination. Really, seeing the three of these actors play against each other and throughout this sequence, I think was really the top-notch moment. Otherwise, kind of very straightforward. We get, of course, our shot of our red-haired girl, S.P.O.I.L.E.R.S, as we find out later, from the beginning, talking with our other gambler who had that unfortunate money-snagging scene with Enoch last time they were at Kitson. He gets his comeuppance eventually. So we get our first little shot, foreshadowing of what's going to go on here. We do get Anthony Michael Hall as Mr. Kitson. Great to see Anthony Michael Hall. Classic actor, done so many things. Not a big role for him in this week, so it's another one of those where it's like, are you just a fan of the show that just really wanted to come up and just play even a simple role in this? It feels kind of that way. But he did it great. Perfect, showing the the perfect kind of casino owner. I love, my grandfather came here with just some slaves and some gumption, and we had to set up just little rooms and pods in order for the first gambling table and the first dome for the brothel. We're terraforming here. We're just setting down roots, building things up. Again, a classic business beginning story, just with that little Kitson twist, I guess we could call it. But yeah, fun little tense moment. Love the guillotine. That's something I would have expected in space as a potential method of death. But if you make it from a hyperdense metal and then have people hold onto the chain, and if they let go, it kills them. That does seem like a perfect gambling bit. And I love that, of course, doesn't matter. Everything is still rigged. The house always wins. He's got the little remote control. They can send the electrical shock through. Who can hang onto a chain when you're getting shocked like that? Not really anybody. So, well, like I said, overall, just a good way to wrap up this bit of story. We're introduced to a new character, S.P.O.I.L.E.R, and we say goodbye to Enoch. Well, for now, at least. I gotta say, that was a very sad moment. It was very sweet. I mean, I love that they get back onto the transpo ship again that we had Fitz on at the very beginning. It seems appropriate. Stay away from the puffs, though, Gemma. That one guy was eating him. Don't go after those. But again, it was sort of a sweet moment as we've got FitzSimmons walking on. We know they're heading to Zell. They're heading back to Earth now. And Enoch's like, okay, well, my mission is done. Save the future. You guys are reunited. Now I got to go find a place for my people. So it was good. It was kind of an appropriate part. I like Enoch with Fitz. I love that little grouping. But from a character standpoint, it makes sense that this is a break point. I do love that he gave him the little radio. You can still reach out and call me. But not too much, because I won't miss you. I'm bluffing. God, I love Enoch. He did have just some of the best lines in the show in this section. But what this does mean is that we are getting FitzSimmons back onto Earth. We should be getting the team reunited, assuming that they don't get caught up too much in whatever it is that Zell's going after. Alright, just a couple of small things. One, like I said, Enoch has some of the best lines. He certainly has some of the best delivery of lines. But when Mr. Kitson says that he's being sent off to the brothels, I love that. I don't know what I'm feeling right now. It's just... I love Enoch. I'm really going to miss him. I hope he's not gone for too long. Also, since we're still talking about the casino, I love how Gemma, again, well, a little disappointed with the less enjoyable aspects of the casino not being on Puffs, just how ready she is to be done with this all. It's just, she had the best line, she's just like, I just want to go home. And he does, and that's really her feeling and expression throughout the whole rest of the episode. She is so done with these space adventures. It's like, we just want some tea, go back to the little breakfast nook, and just sleep in for like 4 days. I think that's maybe a week is her plan. Now, Sarge also had his own good share of lines. Another one I didn't mention before is, nice little planet, be ashamed to lose it. Because again, it's a true statement, he's being honest, but there is that threatening aspect to it as well. Kind of perfect Sarge. Also, loved his outfit. As he's lost his jacket and everything, and he's down to kind of his more basic wear. The fact that this is all stitched together, it's part of a shirt with a different sleeve and another like half armored sleeve or something on it. I loved it. It's a simple thing, but immediately it says, you know, Mad Max, dark future, apocryphal, apocalyptic scenario. He's been through it, and the stuff he's been through has not had any stores at all, clothing-wise at least. A lot of gun stores. A lot of gun stores and knife stores, but no clothing. Oh, cannot forget to action, Quake versus Dragon. That was awesome. I mean, first off, there was just the reveal for Jocko of the fire breathing and the smoke coming out. It's like, okay, like I mentioned before, this makes a lot of sense with this whole atmospheric problems and things. And my Snow was saying, you know it burns, but it's going to be good. That was awesome. Also, the toughness of Jocko. Quake comes up, permission to quake the door, destroy the door, granted. Boom, right into Jocko's face. Doesn't even faze him. But it's also Quake. I loved how that just got handled. She just came in and we just cut back to Snow and her reaction sounded like, Jocko? The next, it's Mac with the fire extinguisher. Glad I could do something to help. Shh, put out this fire. Anyway, that was a hilarious sequence. Definitely not going the way that Sarge's crew had that planned. But they've never met Quake before either. Oh, and I had mentioned I really love the shots of how they brought Sarge into the whole elevator thing. Same way, though different. Love the music that they had bringing us back into Kitson. I think it worked perfect. A little half rock, half electronica, a little groovy, a little action-oriented. But using that to bring us right back into Kitson, I think was a perfect way to set the mood there. Alright, so I think that covers pretty much everything. So, next week, FitzSimmons is coming back to Earth! Ah! And it seems like Ezell is looking for monoliths. So, he's really come to the right place. Also, now that we've got Sarge in charge, it's going to be a real scary introduction in with the Shrike. There are still several episodes left. Again, this is kind of the halfway point, just over the halfway point. So, a lot of things to happen next. I don't think the Shrike will just be the end of it. We definitely have whoever is in charge of the Shrike, the creator, back behind that. So, a lot of monolith action going on, a lot of Shrike action going on, and a lot of personality button heads in just the best ways possible. So, cannot wait for next week. But that is going to wrap us up for now. Thank you guys so much for joining me with this review. And if you enjoyed it, please go ahead and hit that like button. Thoughts, ideas, and comments, you know where to put them, right down in the section below. What do you guys think about this episode? Favorites, not favorite moments? Where do you think we're going to end up? Also, if you guys have any questions, put those down in the section below. I will try and get to as many as I can on our live stream. Again, this coming Wednesday, that is July 3rd at 6 p.m. Pacific. It'll be right here over on my channel. So I'll put something up. You guys will be able to see. If you can catch it live, great. Join the chat. We'll trade discussions back and forth. Always so much fun. If you can't make it, that's okay. Just go ahead, leave your questions down in the section below. I will get to as many as I can. You can always catch me on Twitter and Instagram. That's right, important part. I am at Darren Jakes. And of course, please subscribe. Quick and easy. It's a one-button press. You catch the rest of this season. We have just started up Legion Season 3, which is just awesome. Please watch that show. It is excellent television. And we've got Preacher coming up later on. Plus, like I said, we got a live stream discussion of Agents of S.P.O.I.L.E.R.S. this Wednesday. And I'm going to try and do some of those a little bit more often. So catch all that stuff. You won't miss it if you're a subscriber. You will catch it all. Do that by hitting this button right here. That awesome new logo. I'm so excited. And of course, we'll throw up a couple of our latest reviews right here for you to check out. So, that's going to be it for me. I'm D, and I'm out of here. Catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.